So let's close the window. And let's just summarize the controls we've used for validation in this example. So we need to go back into the web page, default.aspx, in the design view. So we've used required field validators. We've used range validators. Age must be between 18 and 65. We've used a compare validator to compare against a fixed value. And we've used a compare validator to compare against another control. We've used a regular expression validator. And finally, we used a custom validator. So that's the full set of validators that we've looked at. Let's just go back into the validation tab because we also need to talk about validation summary. Now, typically, you'll add a validation summary to the bottom of your web page to contain a summary of all the error messages generated on the page. So let's drag the validation summary onto the bottom of our web page and configure the properties for it. So first things first, well, the ID, I'm going to leave that as validation summary 1. Okay. The display mode, well, at the moment it's currently displaying bulleted list. You could choose a normal list, or you could have a single paragraph if you prefer. I prefer bulleted list. Also, you can specify header text. So this will be a message that gets displayed above the error messages when there are some. Please fix these errors on the page. Okay, so you can see the header message has been displayed there. Now, there are two different ways for the summary information to be displayed. If you click Show Summary and set it to true, that's the default value, it will show this summary message on the web page. If you click Show Message Box and set that to true, then it will also pop up a client-side message box to show the error messages just before the data is submitted to the web server. So let's just leave both of those set to true and see how it looks. Okay, let's run the application, Control F5, and let's just click the Submit button and see what happens. Aha, so you can see it's displayed the text messages for each box. It's displayed the error messages at the bottom. That's the summary information. And it's also popped up the message box as well, containing the same data. So that's fairly clear. Now, at this point, you might prefer to display detailed error information in the summary and just maybe display a star, for example, at this point, just to indicate that there's a problem with this field. But the user then looks at the summary information down below to find out what the detailed error messages are. That's quite a useful way of saving real estate up here in the main body of your web page. So let's make some changes. Let's select the validation summary, first of all. And let's get rid of the message box because I've decided I didn't really like that very much anyway. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll come up to, let's choose the first required field validator for the name text box. And let's change its text to be just a star. Okay, so you can see there's a star symbol appearing there. Now let's Control F5 to run the application again. And I'll leave the name box empty and click Submit. There we go. So this is quite a familiar pattern. The error messages are displayed in summary format at the bottom, and the star here just indicates that there is some sort of problem with the name text box. The user has to look down here to see what the actual error message is. Okay, so feel free to use whichever of these approaches you prefer and that makes more sense in your particular scenario. Just one or two more things to have a look at and then we're finished with the lesson. Sometimes, instead of displaying an asterisk, you might want to display an image, like a triangle, or a warning message, or a warning GIF, or a skull and crossbones, instead of displaying an asterisk. So to do that, I'm going to select the required field validator, and I'm going to just delete the text completely, and in its place, I'm going to put an image. So to do that, I need to go to the source view, and now let's look carefully. I'm trying to find the required field validator for the text box. So this is it. This is the required field validator for the name text box. Now at the moment, there isn't any text displayed. So what we'll do is insert an image tag at this point. And we'll set its source attribute to point to error.gif. And it's always a good idea to provide some alternate text in case the GIF can't be downloaded for some reason. And well, I'll just set the alternate text to be a star. So this error GIF is actually in the web application. I don't know if you've probably noticed that already, but up here in Solution Explorer, error.gif, this is just a GIF file that I made myself. Okay, so let's run the application again and see if that gets displayed. So I'll leave the name text box empty and I'll click submit. And there it is. There's my GIF. That's error.gif. That's been displayed there. And the alternate text is popping up as well. So use that approach if you want to. Have images, or just use stars, or have full-blown text messages if you prefer. It's really up to you.